if you have any question or any comments, just feel free to drop it in the chat box, and we'll try as much as possible to respond to whatever it is that you want to know. So, Tabitha and Olivia, how has your day been going? Olivia?
So far, it's been a very, very busy day, but going well so far. I think
Okay.
Tabitha's feeling in the same boat slightly.
Yeah, no, it's been one of those days where it just doesn't stop, but it's been quite productive.
Mm, good to know. Yeah, mine too. I mean, it looks short, like I just got here 1 hour ago, but I mean, I've kind of done a lot today, and it has been productive, like Tabitha said, which is really good to know. So our the team objectives and the individual objectives for officers has been finally approved by the student voice, which is good news as far I can say. So I'm going to be asking the officers a two-in-one question. The first one would be, I mean, before we go to the objectives, I would like to ask, what have you been working on for the past weeks, for the past 2 weeks? Let's start with Olivia.
Yeah, so right now I'm continuing work on the student mental health agreement, and we're continuing to update that with the work that we're doing to help students with their mental health and well-being. And that's a document that students are able to access at any time online if they want to kind of keep up to date with what we're doing, and they can see all the different aspects that we have. And similarly, also updating the university's mental health charter. So there's a lot of mental health work happening right now. That's been my main focus for the past couple of weeks, and probably will be for the next couple more, to be honest.
Okay, thank you. And I think about the, I know I can't remember if the spiking was before our last the officer asked the officer, was it? It was. I think we talked about it last one. No.
We didn't know. I have written a speaking statement which students might have seen either in their student emails or online on social media, but that was just to address the any spiking concerns that students might have with the recent cases of spiking by injection that have been happening in Scotland. And it was just to highlight the different like areas in the university and in the Students' Association where any students who are concerned about spiking can come for support. So we have the Advice Centre, for example.
Mhm.
And even if, even if you've never been spiked and you never really go out that much, but you have concerns or questions, then it's absolutely okay to come and use any of the university or students association resources just to kind of calm your nerves about it, because it obviously is a very, very scary thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tabitha.
Yeah, no, just similar to Olivia, just working on a lot of things that's been happening on campus. The last 2 weeks have actually been quite busy because one, it was midway through Black History Month, so there was always something to do, something to get done, and we had a couple of events that were happening. One being an event that we had with the LGBT plus group on experiences of Black and Brown queer people, and we were supported by a charity called Hidayah that mainly focuses on helping queer people of color in terms of just being able to have support. Um, and so that was quite a good event to have. And I think they're planning to redo that for LGBT month in February. So if you missed that, don't worry, there's an opportunity to be involved in that documentary and discussion again. On top of that, we also had the edit, which removed its short issue for Black History Month. So if you haven't had a chance to read any of the articles, they are on the edit site. So there's been lots we've been doing for Black History Month. Of course, also Wear Red Day, which was quite good. It was really nice to see so many students come on campus in red and just show their support to tackling racism on campus. I've
Mhm.
also been working on things to do with COP26 and Go Green Week. So I'm sure if you're in Glasgow, you're well aware that COP26 is happening. But for our students who might not be in Glasgow or in London. So we've been having a lot of things to do with COP26. So last week we had the Go Green Week, and one of the feature things is that we were having accredited carbon literacy training. So we
Mhm.
had 40 spaces for students to be able to get their accreditation for carbon literacy, which was quite good to see. And as well as I went to the Conference of Youth on Saturday just to have a discussion with other delegates and to represent GCU and see how we as a university can work towards becoming a greener campus and going on with our KPIs for our strategy 2020. So that's quite good.
Thank you, Tabitha. That's a lot.
I know it's been quite busy.
I know. So I think for me, basically, it's just about the PGT rep shortlisting and interviews. Trying to get a representative for the PGT, and then also trying to allocate fundings for our clubs and societies. Our clubs and societies are doing a lot of things, and they need funding to do all those things. So trying to allocate that. And for me, I've also been in GSBS. I've been having some class shout outs, just basically to let all students know that the student association is there for them, and to remind them, and also working alongside with Tabitha for the Black History Month, the Show Racism the Red Card Day, which was a very interesting one. And yeah, I think that's it basically for me. And I think for the four of us, for the vice presidents and then the president who is not here right now, we've been working on a banner making session for tomorrow. Is the, what's it called now? Climate
Fridays for
change
Future.
rally. Sorry.
Fridays for Future. That's the name of the
Yes,
rally.
yes, yeah. So we've been planning the banner making session, which is happening at 3 p.m. today. So if you're in campus or you're around, you can just come to join us at Tabitha, can you um
Yeah, so the banner making session will be happening at the social learning space. That's in our Students Association building, which is NH008.
yeah.
So if you're new to the building, all you need to do is come in from the entrance and then take the stairs, down the stairs to level 0, and it will be the first room on your left. Or alternatively, you can take the lift and it will also take you to ground 0 and then again to your left.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I think this time we'll start with Tabitha. Can you tell us what you're planning for the in the next 2 weeks?
Well, there's lots else I'm planning to do, and I'm also just seeing Susan's comment. Thank you for that, Susan. Yeah, so for the next 2 weeks, as Priscilla said, we've just gotten our individual objectives and team objectives approved. So just working on setting a plan on how I'm going to achieve these objectives and looking to speak to key people who are relevant to making my objectives happen, as well as planning for end of trimester A, because we are actually quite close to coming to the end of trimester A. It's really gone really faster. Working to see particularly working with our academic reps and department reps to see what plans they have in terms of the end of trimester. Also working on some of the work we've been doing with the school on equality, diversity, and inclusion. So those are some of the things I'll be working on the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Olivia.
Yeah, so similar to what Tabitha said, I also am working on my objectives. Surprise, surprise, considering they've just been passed. But I have just been kind of speaking to the relevant staff members this week to kind of introduce the next steps, to kind of get a bit more depth in my understanding of how to kind of carry them forward. And also, as I said earlier, continuing my work with the health and wellbeing services for the student mental health agreement.
Thank you, Olivia. For me, I think it's basically we'll be planning, I think alongside with VPS HLS as well, we're planning the BAME Careers Conference. And also we'll be, I've been planning, and then the academic rep gathering will be coming up on the 10th of, which is next week, Wednesday, if I'm correct. Yeah. So, and also the PGT rep induction, and just like both of them said, working on my objectives, getting to introduce the relevant staff to make the objectives come to pass. So that's going to be what we were doing basically. And tomorrow, just like we said before, the takeoff points will be at, we can all rally together at the student association, maybe in the bar by 10 a.m. and then we can all move together to Kelvin Grove just to join others. So that would be it for me for the next 2 weeks, plus other things that would definitely come up. All right. So I was talking about individual and team objectives, which will be which has been approved, and we're just going to talk about it one after the other. But before we go to our individual objectives, we'll talk about our team objectives. We just take it one at a time. So Tabitha, sorry again, would you mind explaining the first one to the students so they know?
Yeah, definitely. So our first team objective for the year is just for a greener campus, and it's a greener GCU campus. And if you followed election last year, I think you'll notice that all four of us who ended up being your full-time officers had something they wanted to do in terms of sustainability
Mhm.
and just making sure that we are a more sustainable university and campus. So it should come as no surprise that this is our first our first team
Same
objective. So
objectives.
we are planning to work with GCU to ensure we have a greener campus. So this will include reducing the food waste we have in our canteens and our cafeterias and our bar. Also working with the university to reduce our net zero carbon emission target, and also working on recycling projects around the campus. So this will include things from kitchen stuff that people might not need anymore because they finished uni or they only came for exchange, to clothes and just doing like swap shops and things like that. So just trying to make sure that we're reducing as much waste as possible in
Yeah.
our campus and just ensuring that it's not just one thing, but it's everything around the campus.
Yeah. Thank you. So, just like we are doing this in the next 2 weeks, so the team are also planning something green for GCU. So, Olivia.
Yeah, so our second objective is improving the NSS score. So for students that aren't aware of what that is a kind of survey that's sent out, and it kind of takes into consideration students from different institutions, and how they view the student experience, how they view different aspects of their time at university and with their students association. And we're looking to um, see the areas that have room for improvement, work on those, and hopefully improve the score by the end of the year, raise it slightly. Obviously, COVID has been an impact for that score recently, and so we're kind of looking to target the areas that students would like us to work on.
Yeah. Thank you. I think the last objective for the team is to refresh student partnership agreements with the university and ensure that student voice is at the heart of decision making. So basically, we want a better relationship, a better partnership with the uni. I know we already have great one, but when you always want something better, so that's what we are clamoring for. We want the student voice to really be heard. I mean, it's what a lot of students will want. Students want different things, and we all want the unit to, also partner with us to help students experience better. So that's basically what we are doing as our third team objectives. So we'll quickly go to our individual objectives. Don't forget, if you have any question or any comment about any of the things we are talking about, just please pop it in the chat box and we would answer you. So Olivia, do you want to run us through your objectives and why did you choose those objectives?
All three objectives. Just checking. Yeah, that's fine. So my first objective is improving the resources and knowledge on disordered eating within the health and wellbeing services and within the student community, and the staff community, really. Um, I chose that objective because disordered eating is really, really common, especially kind of in students. Um, it's also caused, unfortunately, by stress. Stress is often a really big trigger for people who suffer with disordered eating. And my hope is kind of that by improving the resources and improving the awareness, that any student that comes to health and wellbeing services or speaks to a staff member about any issues that they're having with that will be able to get advice that's a little bit more specific. The university does great work for students that are struggling with anxiety or low mood, depression, things like that, and are really tuned in to that type of mental health issue. But I just felt like there was a gap, and so I really thought it was important to address that before it stemmed into something a bit more serious. My second objective, everyone will be pleased to hear, is improving the bar. The bar, if you haven't used it, the I'd be looking to improve the menu and taking students. I'm welcome to student thought and opinion on that to help improve it so that it's kind of representing everybody. I would like to see a lot more kind of dietary requirement friendly foods on there. So more vegan and vegetarian, more gluten free, more halal. So I'm looking to do that, and also maybe change the interior slightly, add more plug sockets, darken it a bit more so it has more of a kind of chill bar vibe, and hopefully that will improve the student experience in there too. And my last objective is investigating the need for a social support network once students graduate. So, particularly during the pandemic, a lot of recently graduated students came to me, also as a recently graduated person, and said that the transition from leaving university where your friends are around you every single day to suddenly flying back home to a country that's not the UK, not having your friends around you at all, um, and suddenly being forced into a job market when only a few weeks ago, you were having fun and clubbing and you're in classes and everything seemed so much easier. Um, it felt like something that would be quite important to investigate and explore, because the university does a lot in giving their graduates kind of job opportunities and keeping up to date with them to allow them to use GCU resources. But I felt like there was an absence of a social support network that might be quite beneficial for students who maybe feel a bit isolated with the sudden move from the university life to being a proper adult, really. So that's my 3 objectives.
Yeah, nice ones, Olivia. Thank you so much. Tabitha?
Yep. So just similar, I'll just go through my 3, similarly to how Olivia went through hers. And
Okay.
it will come as to no surprise why my first individual objective is what it is, because I think I have been the noisemaker for tackling racism on this campus since 2019. So it will come to no surprise that my first individual objective is running a racism education campaign. So just working with the school, with the university in general, just to make it more accessible and particularly create spaces where staff and students are comfortable talking about issues of racism. So using this campaign to create an avenue where departments can talk about microaggressions and trying to understand what those are, challenging stereotypes within our institution, and just working together to show that we're doing more than just speaking about racism, but actually working towards tackling it in our institution. And to be fair, GCU has been doing a lot in terms of tackling racism, but as always, there's more that can be done. So that's one of the reasons why I had that as an individual objective. Now my second one, which is also quite closely linked to this one, is working with my school, particularly SHLS, to work on its projects on equality, diversity, and inclusion. So SHLS has taken it upon themselves to work on improving the school in terms of how, one, they do recruitment and even staff employment as well. So working to make SHLS a more inclusive school, and even changing our recruitment methods in terms of who do we target for recruitment. Is there support for students who might not necessarily mirror the outside world in terms of who's being employed as a physiotherapy, who is being employed as a nurse, who's being employed as a psychologist, a social worker. So working on supporting students who might not necessarily match what's out there in the workforce, and just creating that ability to have a safe space within the school. So we'll be working with them to do that across the school. And my third one is to increase the knowledge and engagement students have with SDGs, and also entrepreneurial and social innovation activities within GCU. So we have lots happening on campus, particularly within our UHAC and the Research Innovation Office, that students don't know. Opportunities for entrepreneurs to start businesses, for social innovators to start their businesses, and it's funding there for students to help them with their employability particularly. So just working to highlight these opportunities to students, working with the university to make them more accessible, more user friendly as well. So just ensuring that post GCU, if you're a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a social innovator, there's so much that you could do with that, as well as embedding SDGs in our curriculum as well.
Thank you, Tabitha. I was enjoying it. I felt like you only said 2.
But
Okay.
I definitely said 3. I don't know if I missed one. No, I definitely said all 3 of them.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to explain mine as well. So my first objective is to work with GSBS to investigate the creation of a peer mentoring scheme, particularly for international students. I mean, it's going to be for everyone, but our focus would be majorly on international students. As a lot of us know, when international students come into the system looks kind of new, and so they I mean, they are usually a bit confused, and it really affects their coursework and scores and everything. So what we are trying to do is a peer assisted learning where we can just reduce everything we hear about plagiarism and things like that. So that's my first objective, just to help the academic life of majorly GSBS students and international students. So the second one would be the creation of a GCU community app for students communication and engagement. As you can see, um, all vice presidents and the student presidents also have a lot of things which is supposed to benefit students, and sometimes when these things are done, some students still don't benefit from it because of engagement, because of communication, because when you ask someone they feel like they didn't hear about it, so they don't benefit from everything we are trying to do for the students. So that's what I'm trying to, I mean, that's what I'm trying to avoid going forward, and that's why the creation of this app is very important, and I feel is something that would help the students a lot. And those that have been missing out on things that are meant for them will not be missing out anymore, because it's going to be a community that will bring everybody together, and then we can have better engagement as students. And the last one is pre-induction information assistance for students. I mean, I think work is already going on that, according to what VPSHLS was telling me. So international students have been having real big issues when it comes to accommodation, and some people come and get duped in one way or the other, or just having general issues. So that's what we are trying to curb, so that when students are, as soon as they are getting in fact, as soon as you get your what's it called, admission, you're getting information on accommodation, and so you don't have to make mistakes, or you don't have to be in that very difficult situation where you start squatting or not having somewhere to stay. So that's what my third objective is going to be for the year. And for the student president, you can always go to the website. In fact, you're going to get all of our objectives there so that you can read. I mean, we have it extensively, more than what we have already said. You can find it on the GCU Students Association website. You can get our team objectives, get that of the student president because he's not here to say his own, and then our own as well. Just read up on it. So that's it basically for our objectives. And I guess that is all for today.
You, you
That's
know,
a very
you know
that's
what I found very interesting, Priscilla, is how you don't refer us by our names but by our titles. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just start saying that I'm no longer Tabitha Nyariki. I'm just VPSHLS.
I know. I don't know. I guess it's because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it right there. So it's making me just call VP SHLS and VP Scabby. Okay. So I think one other thing I would like to, I don't know, maybe the Olivia and Tabitha asked something to pass on. One thing I would like to pass on is that I think our student representation guide, just in case you want to know about student representation, probably because you want to be one yourself. So the guide has been uploaded on our website. You can go to our website to check it out. We have the guide there. You want to know about the academic reps, about the student voice, about how to join and the things they do, you can go to our website to check up on it. So, Tabitha and Olivia, do you have any information you'd like to pass across?
I think
Uh,
just to say what you'd said earlier about, so we have the banner making session today
yeah.
happening at 3 at the social learning space, and as well as tomorrow if you're planning to go for the march. We are all living from the Students Association building, so we are meeting at the Student Association building at 10 a.m. So if you do
Mhm.
want to have company as you go to the march and you're a GCU student, please do come to the Students Association, and we'll walk down together, and hopefully also walk back to the uni afterwards for just a short catch up with you guys at the bar. So it would be nice to see all of you who are planning to go and just be there as we raise our voices a bit louder about climate change.
Mhm. Olivia?
Yeah, the only thing I really have to update on for any students wondering is that the bar booking system is back. So if any societies, groups, clubs, or students just want to book a seat or an area of the bar, then they're now able to do that. The link is back up, and hopefully that makes organizing your social drinks a little easier now that you don't have to directly talk to the bar. So it's just to let students know that that's back up and running again.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to know, so what are you guys, I mean, I know Tabitha has been doing a lot about um COP26. This 2 weeks, I think we have one more week. I mean, just so fast, one week is gone already. So what are you guys' thoughts, and how do you feel about just the whole thing generally, the whole COP26 generally? Tabitha.
So I think COP26 is usually an interesting, no, COP in general is just usually a very interesting conference, because you see we have all these world leaders coming in and trying to make it better for climate change. But I
Mhm.
think it's fantastic to see that it's being taken seriously and that all these people are coming in. But I think it's also getting to the point where's the action? There was a Paris Agreement in now I'm sounding very political, but there was a Paris Agreement a few years ago in the previous COP, and then now we are hoping to see the outcome of this one. So I think if you've read my blog, you'll know my thoughts about performative activism. So I hope
Mhm.
that this is not just another act of performative activism in the sense that Glasgow has transformed itself. So we are hoping that you know it's more action rather than just
Yeah,
speaking.
very true. So Olivia, and also, uh, what are your? I mean, because I have a lot of students who don't even care. All they care about is, okay, let this just be over. What's your advice for them? I mean,
What's my advice for students um,
who are indifferent. They don't care.
about climate change?
They just want, yes, about climate change, and then the whole thing going on. They just want, oh, you, those of you that are in Glasgow right now, just do whatever you want to do, pack your load and go, so that we can go back to our normal activities. So what can you say about that?
Um, well, kind of similar to what Tabitha said, I feel like, anyone who doesn't kind of care about COP and climate change and environmentalism and things like that, it's because sometimes it can be just talk and no action.
Mhm.
But hopefully there is action from this, and hopefully there are things that help the world move forward in more positive ways. Um, so my only advice could be that hopefully they do the job that they're supposed to be doing, and that kind of eases any students who feel that it's all it's doing is blocking roads and causing traffic.
I know. So I think what I want to say is, I don't, tomorrow or any other time that there'll be rally for this, it could be, I mean, to some people it could just be like, oh, you're just disrupting activities. But to be honest, it's not just disruption of activities. This is what people are doing for to have a better future. There's nobody it doesn't affect, to be honest. It affects everybody. So if you have the chance, just please try to lend your voice. Try to lend your voice, because if you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for somebody in your family, you're doing it for your children or things like that. So just try and lend your voice at this time where the voice can be heard, because after these 2 weeks, there's probably nothing you can do anymore. This is just the time we can, all come together to get things done. And hopefully, like Olivia and Tabitha said, it won't just be all words.
Yeah.
I mean, things will actually change for all of the throughout the world, hopefully.
And just I think something has just come up to my mind when you've said that, Priscilla. I also like to plug that we have the ethical and environmental group at GCU. So if you are passionate about all things ethical and environmental, so be it sustainability and anything of the sort, we are not just doing this for COP26, because GCU is actually committed to tackling climate change issues within our campus. So if you are a student and you would like to be involved, you can join the group and just get to know about the activities. We've recently just got a new officer who is very vibrant and is looking forward to doing so much on campus in terms of the group. So if you are passionate about anything to do with sustainability, please do get in touch with myself or just join the group, and you can get involved in whatever we'll be doing throughout the year.
Okay. Okay, not taking. Thank you very much. I think we have come to the end of today's Ask the Officer Online. I know it's a it's a short one, but it was a very interesting one as well. Our next episode will be on the 18th of November, if I'm correct. So just do well to join us here again, just to catch up on everything your officers are doing. And if you also have any issues or any question or any help at all, don't forget to reach out to any of us. Our contact details are on the Student Association website, and you can always come to the Student Association building as well. It's the last building. I mean, it's the last building. So always come there as well on Mondays to Fridays, 9 to 5. Myself, I mean, the four of us are in the building on Tuesdays and on Mondays and uh,
On Mondays
Thursdays.
and Thursdays, it's Olivia and Adil, and myself and
Yes.
Priscilla in on
Wednesdays
Wednesdays
and
and Fridays.
Fridays.
There we go.
Yes. I don't know why I always mix that up somehow. So, I mean, you can always come to the welcome desk and you'll be directed. We're just, I mean, this is the reason why we are here to help you to, help you resolve issues that you have. So, that would be us for today. Thank you so much for joining and uh, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to see you next time. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you, Tabitha and Olivia. Bye.
Right.
Bye.